right on. You know what I'm saying? That's where we do it. Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I am your co-host, Trey Holiday, and you guys see my co-host right here in studio with me, Big O. What's up, Big O? How are you? Happy Thursday, my friend.
Bay Holiday, what's happening?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good. You know, very colorful. You got to bring the colors in.
Now, you always bring the color, though. You bring the color, the flavor, the swag, the flair, some of everything.
You know, we try hard over here, just stirring it up in the pot, man.
Yeah, I'm still riding the high off of yesterday's show. That had to have been one of the best shows that we've had in a very, very long time, right?
Yeah, it was so good, honestly. And I got a lot of great feedback from yesterday. So you just know that even the audience feels those good vibes.
I got so many messages. Even Bobby Stills, people were texting him. It was like, man, what a great show yesterday and how everything went off. Let's, see if we can make magic happen twice. Got a few things going on here today. We've got somebody from the Treat Your Health podcast. We'll be checking in with, what's his name here? Josh from the Treat Your Health podcast. Besa's gonna be here. Your girl, Black Girl Magic, Brother Rewind with Besa. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. And, as usual, we'll check in with producer Nikki Barron about COVID. Man, today is like it's record-breaking across America and the total number of deaths and hospitalizations. It looks like COVID is spiraling again. So before we jump into everything, though, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of our viewers out there. Remind you, there's a good opportunity to tag and share the stream, especially with people who could appreciate culturally relevant content, emanating from the Black community here in Seattle, Washington. First thing up, before we get into all the formalities, I thought about it yesterday because you were talking about birthdays, you were talking about all your family. I was like, man, somebody should bring in a picture and everything. So today, want to wish School Board Director for District 7, Brandon Hersey, a very happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Brandon, another brother in the community doing great work, man. Happy birthday, happy born day, happy Earth Day. Now they say it so many different ways.
And then, another rotation around the sun, kid. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing, what week is this? Wednesday?
It's Thursday.
It was my brother that was here on Monday, right? The South Seattle Emerald was here on Monday. He talked briefly about the comic book Little Big Fella. And so if you go to the South Seattle Emerald, they actually have an article up there about Little Big Fella. Look at this photo they used. Oh, yeah. Very good. If only he looked that way in real life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, okay, cut. So yeah, you can go to the South Seattle Emerald. It's a nice article there on my brother Kun and the Little Big Fella comic book.
I love seeing our people create literature and literary arts, honestly, because these are the things that live on beyond time. I mean, when we talk about the importance of books and the importance of us infusing ourselves in the narratives of how people see the country, see themselves, I love that your brother is doing that project, Little Big Fella. It's great, man.
Yeah, no, big shout out, cuz. Well, we're going to keep supporting it. Hey, I mean, what's the use of your brother having a media company if you can't promote what you're doing? You know what I'm saying? So we'll keep putting it out there. All right, jumping into some of the big stories here nationally. The first one here, let me pull it up on this side as well, is right here. 7 civil rights groups want a meeting with Joe Biden. The agenda, appointing Black officials in top roles, not lower ranking ones. Trey Holiday. So now 7 Black, we've been saying this before the election, but now 7 Black organizations. There were some people from the NAACP I was watching on CNN earlier, and they was like, man, don't give us no token appointments. I mean, this is interesting because Black people are usually just kind of sit back and it's whatever. And hey, but Black people, man, made the difference in Joe Biden's whole campaign. And black people are letting it know up front, like, man, listen, man, come on, pay the fee.
Yeah, I gotta say this. I think that this is what we talk about when we start to see some changes happen in the psyche of people, because now the demand is known. It is widely known. And people are like, all throughout the election, people were saying, you're not just gonna just get the black vote. You're gonna really have to do something for it. You're really gonna have to speak and connect to the black community and really do some sustainable change, some systemic things that are going to bring about equity. The same kind of things we were just asking of Mayor Durkin earlier this week. It's like now black folks nationally are asking the same from Joe Biden.
Well, I mean, the thing is too, is that in the past, black people, a lot of these organizations would kowtow and be like, well, we're going to have a closed door meeting with this, that. They coming out and they just, Congressman Claiborne made it very clear. He's like, yo, DSHS and I forget what the other one is, and agriculture. He was like, yo, he put up some qualified candidates for that. And NAACP's there. Biden's like, hey, man, I still got a lot of slots to fill. Give me a chance and everything else. But people are ready to bring the smoke on Biden over the. But, my brother, he said something interesting, because we talked about this on Monday. He was like, man, what we don't want to happen is just to get a black token in there who really don't get nothing done. So now you got a black dude who's the head of agriculture, and black farmers keep losing their farms, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? So what we don't want, and we've seen before, is black people go into decline on black people's watch.
Yeah, period. And this is exactly why. It's not just about some facadical title. It's not just about some throwaway department. This is, people are saying, no, we need to see it. We need to actually see the results of that person being in that position of authority. We need to see real sustainable systemic change. That's why we use those words so often, because we're not just talking about, again, something that's transactional. I mean, I'm asking it of our local officials, and now folks are saying it to the national. I mean, we need systemic systems change for black people that's really going to bring about black equity.
I'll be honest with you. I bring it up all the time, because Seattle for decades has had lots of black gatekeepers who was in charge of the success of black people, and they gatekeeper position, black people have declined. And on top of that, in this very liberal Democrat city, I might be being cynical about it, but I bring it up, that Seattle for decades has been a very liberal Democrat city, and there's been quite a few black token gatekeepers who have been there, who are supposed to be champions of our success, and we've seen decline on the job. So let's hope that Biden continues to add some more diversity to his cabinet, but most importantly, very capable, able, accountable people that are going to get the job done.
Period. And again, folks that are really rooted in their community and in the black community. I think when you're talking about this, again, it has to have somebody that can have that kind of credibility. Agree with you 100%.
So I got one question for you, Trey Holiday. And I'm going to put this up here. And I'm going to ask the question first, though. Why didn't he say this before Election Day? This is my question to you. Why didn't he say this before Election Day? Obama suggests slogans like defund the police are counterproductive.
Yes, I was all over this last night and saw many, many different forms of, folks talking about this. This is the thing. When we're talking about defunding the police, it's really an investment in community. If folks just want to take out this phrase, defund the police, and talk about investing in community solutions that are from a grassroots level that have proven over decades to have success, then that's really what we're talking about. I agree with you. I was wondering the very same thing, Omari. I was thinking, wow, he did this strategically to come out and say this kind of after, now Biden's in there. Yeah, exactly. And again, I think that it's unfortunate, because this is why we talk about elected officials not being plugged in and not being connected to what's happening and to the general discourse on the ground, is because this kind of language that Obama is saying is happening at this very top political level. And a lot of folks are like, well, that we can't be doing that. That's counterproductive. You're going to make people uncomfortable, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, we're saying it because that's what needs to happen.
Man, I mean, so I got a few things here. I really feel like it's disingenuous to bait and switch with Obama. You know what I'm saying? The former president, I mean, Biden is getting elected to office, but Obama, this former president, his presence is much bigger than Biden's. You know what I'm saying? So now he comes at after the fact. You remember when Obama was stumping out there, you know what I'm saying? He ain't say nothing like that when he was on the stump. But now after the fact, and he's signaling, he's trying to set a tone. You see what I'm saying? For the party. And instead of Biden coming out and doing the dirty work, it's Obama out there is doing it. And man, I got a lot of questions. I mean, first of all, I'll say this. And we've had this conversation a lot of times, man. I'm still waiting to see all these amazing things that Obama did for Black people when he was in office. One of the most amazing things that he did was a visual representation of what is possible. And that's amazing. I give him all the credit on that, 100%. Like to see this Black man be elected president. But it's like these same issues that are agenda issues for Biden, they was in for 8 years and didn't want to address none of them. You know what I'm saying? And so now it's like, oh no, I always been on. I got the utmost love, respect, and everything for President Obama as as president. But man, when it comes down to like, man, what was life changing for Black people? See, DACA was life changing for a Hispanic community. There's a segment of people there that was life changing. They came over here, it was a kid, they didn't know whatever, they did citizenship and all those things. That was life changing. Man, where is Obama's accomplishments for Black people? Then on top of that, he's like, okay, we'll defund is whatever. Obama, here's how cold the game is, right? Obama could have used the same interview to actually educate the public. But instead, Obama used that interview to throw water on it because, it's different in every kind of city. Jay Grabrod said in Milwaukee, it's not defund the police, it's refund the community. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? But what people are talking about, whether you like defund or don't like defund, the former president of the United States had the biggest platform out there and could have been like, well, you know what? Let me explain to you what this defund thing's all about. And these are the elements that I agree with. And these are the elements that I disagree with. And, this is how we can move forward and everything else. He blew an opportunity. And not only that, Obama has now driven a wedge in between the people who really, you can say what you want if you're for defund or not, but that movement in the streets is what got people to the polls, is what got Biden elected. And I think it's just, man.
Oh, Omari, I love you so much because you are telling the truth. For me, this is exactly why people on the ground do not have the greatest trust or sometimes even the level of respect for our elected officials because of this huge disconnect and not being able to be real stewards of this large voice that is coming from the American public. You cannot deny the fact that there are thousands of people who have hit the streets to share in the fact that their voice has not been heard at the top level for many, many years, really since the inception of this country, let's be honest. And here we are now, people are they're taking their stake back in this country. They're saying, look, I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to put my body out there, or I'm going to be creating social posts that share my ideology because I'm tired of sitting back and complaining to my TV. I'm going to let people know how I feel. And I agree with you that what we really need from elected officials and people who have positions of authority, specifically in the political sphere right now, is an understanding. We need the John Collinsons of the political sphere, period, point blank. How do we begin to share in knowledge that really brings about systemic change? The ideas around sustainable change or equity or any of this is not new. And the fact that they're trying to make it seem like this is some new radical idea, oh, that's too crazy. You're saying defund, that's counterproductive. Right. To say something like that is really, really dismantling a lot of the work that these people have done on the streets. And this is why, again, and I'll keep on saying this is why we talk about a need for constant pressure coming from this collective people power.
The thing is Obama, and it's funny because he talks about slogans and everything else and how people react to slogans. Well, I can tell you, he came with hope and change. Yeah, he gave black people a whole lot of hope, but he ain't give us no change.
Right. I mean, just last week he was on the Breakfast Club, right? And they asked him, literally, he asked him, like, look, I'm just gonna say, what did you do for black people? And he went right to, okay, well, what I did was, there was 30 more Black Americans that had health care with Obamacare. Yes, there's like 10 million more that don't, but that was something, right? Hey,
but that
black,
wasn't for
he said,
black people. It ain't like black people care.
Exactly.
That was Obamacare, the whole country. And that's good. Okay. Wasn't for black people.
Exactly. So again, this is what I mean by this political talk. We say this all the time. How come they don't say just direct statements? It's because they do a lot of a roundabout to try to really not answer your question, but thinking they're kind of answering your question. And it's unfortunate because people really want transparency. People want truth. They want genuine people in these positions of power. This idea around, hey, you can't do that in the political game is really BS to a lot of people on the ground because it's not really bringing about no change.
This is the same guy that said that he saw Trayvon Martin as his son. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And the thing is, like I said, man, President Obama blew it. He blew it 100% because he had an opportunity to educate. And that's the best thing that you can do in this country because there's just a lot of people that are ignorant. And there's a lot of people who get caught up. And yeah, just from like the other side, they call all protesters Antifa or BLM.
Yeah.
And even we sat here and broke down, okay, Black Lives Matter. There's actual movement. There's actual organization with a board of directors, two different things. You know what I'm saying? There's people who are out in the streets in the support of Black lives. I know I'm definitely one of them. I know you're one of them. I'm not a member of Black Lives Matter. I ain't even been to their website. I don't even know who they are. Right. You know what I'm saying? We did like an interview with one of the founders, as Jossie and Minty did, and we aired that. But I'm not a member of Black Lives Matter. I'm not a member of their organization. I don't support any of their stuff. I don't hate any of their stuff either. But that's the whole point. But I'm still out here supporting the value of Black lives. And no one takes the time to be like, it's all like, oh, it's BLM. And they put everybody on this organization because people don't take time to educate. President Obama had the perfect opportunity to educate and could even give some examples of, okay, well, man, this is what defund might look like here in Seattle and actually what they're doing there. Because in some cities, defund isn't even necessarily taking money from the police. In some cities, it's reallocating the services that are provided. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In other cities, it's beefing up programs like Health One.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So the police don't have to respond to mental health. President Obama could have very well been like, you know what? Defund actually comes in 5-6 different categories. You have people where defund, some people just really want to get rid of the police. Okay, that's that category right there. You got other people who are in a lot of cities like Seattle. The Seattle Police Department responded to 17,000 mental health calls. So you got some cities where like, hey, you know what? How can we ramp up? How can we take resources to ramp up call and response to people who have mental health crisis? You see what I'm saying? And a lot of police forces are happy to hear that. They're like, word, you go do a mental health, you got it. You see what I'm saying? Then there's other cities, you know what I'm saying, where defund might be like, okay, a CSO is going to respond, a community service officer is going to respond to like a non-911 emergency call. So there's so many gradients of defund. And like I said, whether you agree with defund or not, the former president of the United States wasted an opportunity to educate the American people on what defund is all about and then give them an opportunity to be like, well, is this a good slogan or a bad slogan? But like I said, it seems like they pulled out Obama to set the tone of what the Biden administration is going to be on. So now Biden's going to be able to back away from a lot of that stuff. He's like, hey, man, you guys heard Barack, got to move away from this defund.
And to be honest, I think you're absolutely right. Again, this is why people on the ground say they're always full of strategy when they're talking. They're not just being transparent or being themselves or saying anything that feels humanistic sometimes. Barack Obama, as a Black man who has seen the atrocities that the police force all over this country has brought about specifically to Black men, for him to say something like that, it felt very disjointed to me. And I thought, there he is again, just like when he pulled LeBron James and all the NBA stars in and said, all right, guys, time to get back to work. I felt just like that right here because Biden has been saying it. Biden's not for defund. He's not for defund. Right. Fine. I understand that. But again, this is why It has always been the work of
Man.
groups on the ground to educate the people, and then media outlets like this. We need them. This is another example of why we need them so badly. Because if you listen to that, if you believe that, what you're hearing is you're hearing all Black men in America say that when you see Barack Obama say that. If you're a person that this is not directly affecting your lived experience, your everyday experience, you take those statements to heart and you say, yeah, see, this is exactly why those young folks shouldn't be in the streets. This is exactly why they should be listening to, elders and wisdom of this and that. What they need to understand is that this grassroots movement is definitely influenced by this intergenerational approach. Our elders are tired of being tired and tired of waiting on incremental change. When we talk about what's happening here, specifically in Seattle, the elders are a part of that movement. So again, I think it does really discredit, honestly, a lot of the hard-earned efforts that are happening on the ground. But again, this is why. What do we say all the time? Ain't nobody gonna save us, man.
Ain't nobody gonna save us but us. But you got to remember, Barack Obama, this was one of the things early on with the Black community early on when he was running for president, is they was like, man, he don't have a lived Black experience. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I mean, his life journey is his life journey. He don't got no lived Black experience. And let me tell you the difference. When Robert Byrd died, Robert Byrd, who was in the Klan, and remember the Ku Klux Klan in the U.S. Senate, when he died, Obama went there, spoke at the funeral. Guess who didn't come? Michelle Obama. Yes. Michelle Obama said, ain't no way I'm going to go to the funeral of this lifelong racist just because he served in the U.S. Senate. Michelle Obama stayed home. She grew up in the Black experience, though.
Yeah.
Obama ain't grow up. Barack Obama didn't grow up in the shared Black experience that we have. You see what I'm saying? And because of that, you see that, like, whoever he's around with his Blackness, he's like, whatever. He goes and talks to the Breakfast Club. You know what I'm saying? He goes and talks to Charlemagne the God. It's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? He goes and does this interview over here. Well, defund something, man. I'm like, man, just sit down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had 8 years. We still, everything, and let's keep it local. In your 8 years, everything in my hometown got worse for Black people. Yeah. And there it is right there. You go sit down, because you know what? The next time that President Obama talks, he should actually use his platform to educate the people and educate the general public, and then let the general public make an informed decision.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't need to be another faction of the status quo. And that's what we saw there. So once again, you know what I mean? It just goes to show you that this is why we don't believe in, you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's one of those things that we're like, hey, I'm glad that we got out and voted. I'm glad that, this 45 is going to be out.
That energy is what drove people to the polls.
Exactly, period. And this is why I say this, that this is why I love when so many on the ground understand and realize, hey, we were not totally celebrating when Biden won. We were saying, all right, cool. We understand now what we need to continue to do, period.
All right. So moving on over here. And it's funny because Obama's like, oh, well, defund is X, Y, and Z, and clearly not understand the energy of it. And, me, I got a lot of mixed feelings about a bunch of different things, right? But I'm fair, give it a platform and everything else. So it's interesting that he said that, because the Associated Press, it says lawmakers, activists set ambitious agenda for police reform. And I bring this up because a lot of this is about the state of Washington. State of Washington, has one of the most ambitious legislative previews for police reform in all of America. What they're talking about down there in Olympia is a state registry. So if you get fired from the police department in Kent, you can't go get a job at the police department in Renton. They're talking about addressing collective bargaining. They're talking about addressing arbitration. When a police chief fires a cop, then he's fired. You know what I'm saying? Yes. A chief doesn't have that power right now. Mm-hmm. They're talking about decertification, which means that it's like, man, because for an example, if you're a nurse and you're negligent and your patient dies, the state takes your license.
Yes.
You can't go and be a nurse anywhere else because you're licensed. So what they're talking about in Olympia is decertification. And it's like, yo, man, if you negligently harmed or killed somebody, they're taking a license. So then you can't go work at another police force. It's a lot of, people would say it's a lot of highly progressive space age legislation that's done in Olympia right now around policing. Whether you agree with this legislation or not, people being in the streets, caught up because there's been people that's been always doing the work, but those people who've been doing the work needed that energy from the streets to push it like this.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so Seattle, state of Washington, is well ahead of most of America because police changes, as we discussed with Mayor Durkin, police changes, not so many changes happen at the city level. The real changes impacting policing in our state, as well as tactics. They're talking about tactics. Who can actually have a Bearcat or a personnel carrier? When can tear gas come out and be used? When can rubber bullets be? All this stuff is coming up in the legislature, right? And like I said, state of Washington, well ahead.
Yeah.
But it's, whether you like them in the streets or not, people being in the streets for 180, 190 days is what's pushing the energy down in Olympia.
Yeah, period. You cannot deny that voice. When I hear a statement like, okay, defund is whatever, that's denying that voice. When we see people down in Olympia and legislators in Olympia actually looking at these measures progressively and realizing how they can infuse the measures into legislation, that is taking a lead. That is Washington stepping up to the plate. When we see major movements like what we saw in California with defund, this is really because you can't deny the community voice. You can't deny the people power. And ultimately, what we saw in the droves, is that people need change when it comes to policing. It can no longer go the way that it has been going. And I love that we here in Washington are being a leader in that regard. I think you're absolutely right that it takes that pressure in order for legislators to even think about changing legislation.
Like I said, whether you're for the Seattle protests or against the Seattle protests, clearly there's a result that's happening because of the protests here in Seattle and across the state of Washington. And, the other thing is like I said, there's just not enough people, willingness, platforms, and clearly politicians that are just willing to explain. Just explain, I mean, I don't know, man. This Obama thing, it just...
I agree,
it's still at the top of my head because you know what? I'm all for people. I don't sit here on this show, not very often. The last time I told people exactly what to do was election day. And I didn't even tell people who to vote for. I just said, get your butt out there and vote, right? So for me, I'm not trying to drive anybody this way or that way. But what I really am big at is getting the information out there because, we got a smart viewing audience. They can make it up they would make up their own minds. Some might be for defund, some might be against defund, but let's get them as much information as possible.
Yes, that's really where we are as a nation. I think you said it so well earlier when you said so many Americans are just ignorant of the facts. It's not to no fault of their own. It doesn't mean they're less than or anything. But we do need massive amounts of education across this country. And it really is the fault of the nation that we even need this education because it's not being taught in public school systems. There's a lot of things that are being whitewashed and left over or colonialized. The idealism that is embedded in education with regard to political acuteness is not there. And so really, this does take the form of so many different people. And it really does live, I think, in a grassroots way. This is why all of these movements now is about education. So much of what we saw in the protest movement was about education because people were not informed.
Yeah. So whether you're for the police and want to get more, or whether you want to defund the police or somewhere or abolish the police, wherever you're at it, man, be informed. Don't go with the slogans. Keep peeling back the onion. Get as much information as possible. Oh, I got one more headline here. We're going to skip a few, and then we've got Jake Grabrock caught up with T-Dub yesterday. We got that. And then after the break, we got Josh, and we're going to talk about how to treat your health, right? We're going to talk to him about that. I see you back there. You got a nice smile back there, brother. You must be keeping healthy. Let me bring this up here. I got a press release this morning. I'll put it up here on the screen. There is a new group in town, and they are called the Washington Build Back Black Alliance. And what this is a group of Black leaders from organizations, and they are, trying to implement policy across really the whole state. So let me read some of the names that are on this here. You got Ollie Garrett, who's the president of Tabor 100, Andrea Calpon Sanderson, CEO of Bird Bar, Michelle Merriweather, the president and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle, Glenn Turner, executive director, Emergency Feeding Program, Lanisha D. Bardella Ben. See, I'll sing it so I can get it right there. Executive Director of NAM. Paula F. Sardinas, President, CEO, Lobbyist, FMS Global Strategist. Tawana Nobles, President, CEO, Tacoma Urban League. And Shwan Fitzgerald, Executive Director of WOW, Tri-Cities. And I've got a release here that I can read. Let me put us back on the screen. The WBBBA is an advocacy coalition designed to help local, state, and federal elected officials craft policies that dismantle structural racism and rebuild Black businesses and community, all while applying the lens of equity to all proposed Washington state legislation during the 2021 session and beyond. Sounds like a coalition here that's getting ready to camp down in Olympia, an impact policy that's really statewide.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? This is really what I'm talking about. You know, when we talk about coalitions or collectives, or I mean, this is the wave, I think, and we're going to be seeing more and more of this as people realize that collectively we have more power. Collectively, our voice is larger. I know many of the names that you just listed there, many of the organizations, definitely. And I think, again, we do need people and I think ecosystems and collectives that are really elevating certain voices that normally are not a part of those spaces. So it's great to see that, again, there's movement happening there. I think anytime we can have, strategy approaches that embed all of that work, it gets a little bit hard. So I love seeing that there's people that are breaking out into different factions, possibly to just get things done, move it forward.
Right. And so the Washington Build Back Black Alliance, I got the press release just before we went on air. I reached out to Katie Hall, who's managing the PR over there. We had a short conversation and told her that I'd like to actually talk to some of the members here in this group and get an understanding on their agenda and how they want to proceed in 2021. They said that their big thing is impacting and crafting policy across the state of Washington. So we'll see how that rolls out. Before we go to break here, though, bring it back to the light side of things. Is that, and I got a description here from Jake Grabbar, so I don't have it on screen, but I'm gonna read it off my phone. I keep it real with the audience. Yeah. It says here, this is Jake and Bobby put this together. Vivid Matter Collective, the artist group behind the Black Lives Matter mural on Pine, is hosting a pop-up shop adjacent to Molly Moon's, starting at 12 noon through 6 p.m. Thursday through Sunday. So that's this Thursday through Sunday? Oh, okay. So today from 12 to 6 through Sunday, and at least throughout the month. Come support local BIPOC artists and pick up some unique gifts. This sounds like a commercial now, Jake, but basically the Vivid Matter Collective, and that's the group that painted the BLM mural. They're actually having a pop-up over there right across from Molly Moon's from 12 to 6. And this is a segment right here. It's about a minute long. Jake and Bobby caught up with your girl, T-Dub.
So I'm Takia Ward, aka T-Dub Customs.
Hey, I'm Aramis Hamer.
And we are two members of the Vivid Matter Collective, and we are here at our VMC pop-up shop. All of the artists that were a part of the Black Lives Matter mural are selling art, selling print, selling buttons, pins, t-shirts, you name it, in this space right here, right next to the mural. So, the proximity couldn't be better. So we're officially opening the doors today, noon to 6, and we'll be open Thursday through Sunday of every week. We'll be here for a little minute, so definitely come by. So if you want to contact Vivid Matter Collective, we're on Instagram at Vivid Matter Collective. Individually, I'm at T-Dub Customs.
And I'm at AO Hamer on Instagram, and all of my socials are just about the same. I think it'd be super dope for folks to come out because there is some exclusive stuff that is here that can't be found anywhere else. Some of the artists actually have original prints of their letters. So if you want to own a piece of the mural, here's the place where you can get it.
Definitely.
My parents coming over here as refugees meant that they didn't really have anything when they came to America. Having reliable healthcare and having a reliable doctor was really important. Cộng đồng của tôi, trạm y tế của tôi.
我的社区，我的诊所。Mi comunidad, mi clínica.
بلشدة هي بقارها.
My community, my clinic.
what's up, everybody? It's your man, the Big O. Want to take a moment here, first of all, to say thank you for your support of Converge Media. We definitely wouldn't be here without you. Secondly, I want to thank everybody who is a supporter of Converge Media on Patreon. We definitely appreciate your support. And for those of you who might not know, I'll let you know, we operate 100% off of donations. Some donations big, most donations small, but we love all donations all the same. If you haven't done so yet, I want to encourage you to go on our website to whereweconverge.com/donate and subscribe. You click on the Patreon link and you can subscribe for as little as $5 a month. There's higher tiers beyond that as well. And just know that your subscription literally keeps us on the air. Once again, I want to thank you for all your support. Guest here. All right, good stuff. I'm glad the mics be off. You guys will know. We be back here talking about. All right, so welcome back to the Morning Update Show. Right here with. We can stay wide. We're getting ready to bring our guest on. Right here, Trey Holiday.
Yeah, hi guys.
Bay Holiday,
Yeah.
Looking fresh as usual.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a guest back here in the back room, and this is Josh. Let me just pop Josh up. Hey, Josh.
Hey, what's up, Bo?
Hi,
What's
Josh.
happening? How are you?
I'm doing terrific, man. How you doing today?
Man, you look good too. I mean, I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying? We getting through it. So now I know that we're talking to you. We'll jump right into it. We went kind of long, man. This Obama conversation kind of took us, and so we'll jump right into it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to reach out to the audience here and tell us exactly what's going on with your podcast, because you know Treyana's also a podcaster as well.
Absolutely.
So tell us about the Treat Your Health podcast.
Yeah. So I'm actually restarting the Treat Your Health podcast in 2021. I started it at the start of 2020, and then COVID hit, and my business went. Like I do fitness coaching and stuff for business, and so but the podcast itself, what it is treating your health is about the entire health of you as a human, as a person, right? So it's not just about fitness. It's about, I broke it down to 6 realms of health that make sense to me. So physical health, right? You think about fitness, physical health, but then mental and emotional health. Because if you ain't right in here, this ain't gonna be right either. Ain't nothing gonna be right. Then we got relational health, because once your relationship health gets kind of out of whack, you know, I can mess up everything else too. Financial health.
Thank you.
Spiritual health, and also aspirational health. Human beings, people, we need goals, we need aspirations, we need dreams, something to wake up and live for. So each of the separate, each month is a different, I take a different book. Like I love to read books. I love to digest books, mentors that put stuff on paper. And I give a book review. We don't always have time to read books or even do the audio books. So I like to break it down, add a little humor, add a little flavor to it, and talk about this wisdom that people put down in books in these different realms of health. So it's treating your health is not just about eating healthy and working out. It's about the whole human. And that's a long short.
Right. and no, this is good. And if Nikki, if you're back there, maybe you could screen share the Instagram page, and we can put that up. But tell us, and we're gonna get your Instagram up here in a second. Tell us about the free morning. Hey, man, this Nikki Barron is fast.
She's quick, man.
Goodness gracious.
The wit.
So tell us about, because you do your free morning routine on Instagram. What's that all about?
Yeah. So the morning routine, basically, it started with the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like I do a morning routine where I wake up, you know, get my head right, get my day set up and everything. And I wanted to share that because, for one, people were lonely. When I was talking to people, I was doing cool because I was meditating, I was journaling, writing, getting my thoughts together, stretching, getting in my body, exercising stuff, keeping myself balanced. And I'd talk to a lot of people and they'd be like, yo, I'm not doing good, bro. I'm like, shit. Oh, sorry. Can I swear on here? My bad. But I'd be like, man, you know, what can I do? How can I serve my community? Because we can't be in gyms right now. And how can I serve? So I was like, you know what? I can get up every day. Consistency is one of my strengths. I can get up every day and get online and just be here. Have a place where people can come and just be like, yo, I know this dude is going to be here every morning when I get up. So that's how I started that. I was just like, look, 5 days a week, let's just get up and meet here. Whether you're feeling good, feeling bad, whatever, let's do some good habits. Habits really change the trajectory. They dictate the trajectory of your life. And healthy habits, just like moving, meditating, writing, thinking, taking time to think and not just consume, is really important. And so we just do that every day for the
And so
morning
the
routine.
question that I have then is some of these things that you're talking about, moving, thinking, writing, are these some of the things that you're recommending, especially right now during COVID? What are the top 3 things, when you're talking about treating your health that people should keep in mind, especially with COVID and what we're going through? A lot of people can't leave the house and so forth.
I mean, I'm a fitness coach by profession. I've been doing that for the last 10 years. And so, of course, my first recommendation is movement. Like, doing something that you love. People always ask me, like, what type of exercise should I be doing? If you're not doing anything, find something that you like to do enough that you'll do it consistently. Something to get your ass moving. Like, if you ever had a dog or a puppy, if you don't exercise that puppy, it's going to start chewing on stuff. It's going to start peeing on stuff. It's going to be barking and real anxious and real riled up. And you're going to be like, what's wrong with this dog? We, as human beings, we're the same thing. We need exercise. We need movement, not just to look buff or get a 6-pack and nothing like that. Just to keep the human organism in its best possible shape. And also this whole COVID thing, it'll come after you when you're unhealthy. That's who it really likes to dig its claws into, is physically unhealthy. So the healthier you can be, that's one of the biggest steps you can take to staying mentally right and staying physically right and fighting off this COVID if it comes knocking at your door. So physical health is one of the first thing I would say. And then mental health that's a big component that it's kind of hard for us to talk about. A lot of times people don't want to talk about mental health. Say that again?
Mental health is a deep topic. And we definitely don't have enough time this morning. But I think I hear what you're saying, that needs to be addressed. People shouldn't neglect their mental health.
And I think when we talk about mental health, our minds go directly to mental health problems, like deep mental health issues. And it's not about that. It's like dental health isn't about holes in your teeth. It's about brushing your teeth, taking care of your teeth every day. Mental health should be viewed the same way. It's just something we do to stay healthy. Like, I don't exercise every day because I have a health issue. I exercise every day because I just want to stay fresh. I want to stay strong. Same thing up here. Taking care of it on a daily basis, finding practices that do it. Like, I love doing just meditations. Some people call it, they use prayer as a meditation. That's great too. Anything that helps you to center yourself, find your center, with all the insanity going on around, all the political talk, everything that's really can come at your mental health, finding something that'll help you center yourself and having a focus on that.
Well, no, what I hear you say is so much about this is really this holistic, like taking care of the whole person, taking care of the whole body, taking care of your whole self. And, I've learned a little bit about some ancient practices around Qigong and wielding the energy into your body. So I just love what you're talking about. Obviously, it really is about the whole person. I thank you for being able to give that approach, because right now it's so needed for so many of us.
What's the third tip you have for it?
Man, so the third, that's a good question. I focus on the first 2 came easily to me. The third tip, service. Having a purpose outside of yourself. Especially in the internet age and everything with Instagram and all the social media, we're very focused on self. And your world gets very small and can be, and when your ego gets hit, it can get very sad, very dark, very quickly. But when you have a purpose, a service to others, that you wake up every day and you have a reason to get up and get out. Oh, you on here serving, you serve, y'all helping people, sharing information. You have purpose. You living on purpose. You have a service. So service to other people. If you're stuck in the house, you're depressed, you're not feeling great, and you're like, why the hell should I wake up today? Having an active service to do on a consistent basis.
There's an old saying that says if you ever find yourself in a situation and you're jammed up and you can't figure it out, stand where you are and help someone else. And then in that act of service, you'll find your answer. Real quick, tell people what your Instagram page is. We're running out of time, but you definitely tell people how they can find you.
My Instagram page is Treat Yo Health Podcast. That's YO, Treat Yo Health. Treat Yo Health. And one of my things, I do daily free workouts, donation based if you can, but I do workouts every day except for Friday and Sunday. So Monday through Thursday and Saturdays. They're beginner level to advanced. If you want to get your ass kicked, you can get your ass kicked. If you're a beginner, come through. I love to teach, form, and help coach. And we up in there. You can DM me.
What time is that on the daily? What time do we get that lesson?
Good question. Monday and Wednesday, I do a 5 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday, I'm on an app called Salute, S-A-L-U-T. That's at 4 p.m. That's more of a strength coaching class. And then Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. on Treat Your Health Podcast on the IG. And then right after that, 10:15 on Salute.
Nice.
All right.
Busy out here.
Man, keep it up. And, those are three really dope tips. And, you always you hit something on us when you talk about service, because we all want to be a service here. Joshua, got to let you go. Thank you for taking some time with us, man. And we're going to check back in with you soon. I think me and Trey going to try out some of this exercise that's out there on your Instagram, and we'll check back in.
Let's go. Anytime. Right, let's go, baby.
Oh man, we could stay here on wide because we got somebody else waiting in the wings, and we got Besa. I think what we're gonna do is we had a last segment here, and if Besa, if you got a few minutes, then man, it's gonna just be Black Girl Magic. The last segment here, but right now we need to bring in Nikki Barron because we got to talk about these coronavirus numbers.
Definitely.
And there she is. What's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Hi, Nikki.
Man. We're doing it. We're doing it. Tell us, man, what's it like? You know what? Actually, Nikki, I watched the news this morning, and I believe I sent you a message because if what they're saying on the news is correct, yesterday was the most horrible day ever with coronavirus in America.
Correct. Yes, the United States set 2 records on Wednesday. We had more than 200,000 new corona infections reported nationwide, and 100,000 patients were hospitalized with COVID-19. So, and they also released a statistic that they're predicting nearly 20,000 Americans could die of COVID-19 during the week of Christmas alone. So,
wow,
not looking good.
That's horrible.
No.
What's the story here in the state of Washington?
Yeah, so let's catch up with the numbers. So we have seen an increase of 2,197 confirmed cases in the state of Washington, bringing us to a total of a little over 170,000 cases statewide. Hospitalizations are up 34 from yesterday, and we lost an additional 45 people in the state of Washington. So our test positivity rate is still at about 15%. The last time they updated it was on the 20th of November, and they just, are reporting that they're having delays in getting all the positive and negative results in, so they can't quite calculate that yet. And then our healthcare system readiness, you asked me this question yesterday about like how many beds do we have and how, and how full are we? And I think I had said that we were over 100%, which was not accurate. We are at 75.7% of our beds. And the goal is to stay under 80% to have the readiness that we need to handle all of the patients. So as far as beds, we have 9,483 ICU beds available in the state of Washington. And currently there are 7,181 beds in use. So those are the COVID numbers for today.
So I got 2 things. One, your home studio, just can you put it back up on the full screen real quick? Your home studio just keeps getting better and better.
It's the same one. I think it's the light outside that changes.
Yeah, I know. She's got a really great setup there. I'm like, you got an additional, I don't know, your webcam is crisp, girl. You're looking great.
Good. And the second thing
Hey,
is,
if you need help, let me know. I can consult. So hit us over at info@whereweconverge.com and hire us. We'll help you out.
definitely, man, I know with all these video links we do with all, especially these elected officials, they could definitely use your help. You're like, damn, dog, you a director? Your joint's looking like that? Come on, man. Other thing I want to tell you before I let you go is that, I really appreciate your level of diligence on this. I asked you a question yesterday, you come back with an answer today. Then when you bolt it down and then you come back with specific numbers, man, keep up the good work, Nikki Barron. We appreciate it. And one other thing I was going to tell you was a random phone call I had early this morning talking with somebody who I had no idea even watches the morning update show. And before they got off the phone, what this person said is, I started watching you guys' shows for the coronavirus updates and how you guys are covering it and talking to the community. So, keep up the good work. The word's getting out there, Nikki.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And you can catch all the episodes of our COVID specific show that we do on Monday and Wednesdays at 6:15 p.m. On our website at whereweconverge.com. Just click on the COVID resources page. You can also hear the podcast version of that. We put it up right after the show every evening. So we've got, I think, 4 episodes up now on your favorite streaming podcast platform. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more about resources available surrounding, the rent moratorium, talking to somebody who is a part of the current vaccine program, if you're interested in learning about, how the data works, those kinds of things, check out our podcast and our video version of that at whereweconverge.com.
All right, Nikki. Catch you later. Thank you. Man, Nikki Barron stays on top of it.
I love it.
We're going to keep it on wide, Director Oye, because we got Besa Gordon back there in the green room. That's where the stars hang out, in the green room. What's happening, Besa? How are you?
Hi, Besa. There she said, hold on here. She's going to get it right now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, boom, because I got the mic. Ew.
Yeah, come on. You got the mic. Here's what we're going to do. You're not going to find me on screen here too much because, when you and Treyana get together, it's a whole lot of black girl magic. But I will introduce this properly. Every week you're here, every Thursday. Last week it was Wednesday because of Thanksgiving. And we talk about the Rewind with Besa. Rewind with Besa is your very outstanding show where you sit down and you interview a guest and then you talk about what's going on in the scene and some of everything else. And if you would like, I'd like you to set up this clip here. It's just I think it's a minute. And it's talking about twerking in a restaurant.
Yes. So I don't know if you guys heard about it, but basically in Texas, well, first of all, I decided to interview my girl, Jazzy Red. She's from Tacoma, now lives in LA. And in Texas, there's this restaurant called True Kitchen. And basically, there were some girls twerking within the restaurant. Child, they were jumping on tables. Well, not tables. That's a bit much. But they were standing on chairs and benches. And eventually, the manager had to come out and be like, you can get out of my restaurant. I don't need your money. This is not why I created it. Like, it got really spicy. And people are trying to shut them down. So we basically had a conversation about if the way that he handled the situation was okay, along with how else he could have handled. And also, the girls were out of pocket, if I'm just being frank, but we'll get to the
Did you hear about True's Kitchen? I did not. So, you know what? I got a news clip for you. Let me get it. Because this was a mess.
One owner is responding after video of him yelling at customers went viral. All this twerking, take it to Ron, take it to Pete. Don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. You want to do it? Got my restaurant. I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. It started with some customers standing on furniture and twerking music played inside True Kitchen plus cocktails. Owner Kevin Kelly says before the viral video was recorded, he asked the women to stop dancing and sit down. The viral video shows him addressing the whole restaurant, saying he invested a lot of money into it so that Black people can have somewhere nice to go and feel good. The video spread quickly online, many saying Kelly addressed the situation poorly. He later posted on the restaurant's Facebook apologizing for using salty language, but not for calling out the women. He also posted other videos showing what the women were doing and how workers and management responded before he addressed the whole restaurant. Katie Johnston for CBS 11 News.
It was the delivery for me. Yeah. And okay, did you see what they were serving there though?
A mess. A mess. Let me tell you
Oh
something.
my
If you do that in Bellevue, you are lucky if you don't get a ticket or arrested, if not dragged out. Like, what people don't actually see, first of all, hey, Trey.
Hi.
But also, what people don't actually see is that the manager comes out and actually asks them nicely 2 or 3 times before he actually just lightweight went off on them. So it's like when we seen the clip, and one of the things that I talked about recently on air was it kind of frustrates me with media where you'll have one clip, the clip will go viral, and then all of a sudden everybody just goes by that one clip. When in reality, there's so many more things that were happening. Like, you would think that it was the whole restaurant, it was a couple tables that were doing it. You would think that he came out one time, he asked them twice. There's literally a girl standing on a bench with her hands on a window throwing that you know what in a circle. So, and she was dancing to that song too, so I'm not just saying that. So, it was a whole situation. So we basically had a conversation about that. She also has a Black History project that she's going to be dropping a teaser for on Monday. So, it was just a good conversation. I am curious to know what you guys think about that, because a lot of people in the comments are saying that he did good.
Well, it's a tough call. I mean, again, I think you're absolutely right when you talk about media taking one little thing and running with it. We talk about this all the time, the need for media outlets just like Converge right here, because we want to be able to show long story format and be able to show multiple perspectives. So right there, you have one video, right? And it looks obviously that person's not a staff person or probably on the side of management, right? Where they're maybe a part of the kind of the crowd or a part of the chaos. And so that perspective is only one perspective. And again, it's not showing the longer story. So I'll just say this with understanding a little bit more about what you just shared. I think it's a tough call. I'm one of those people that's like, hey, maybe in the moment he could have twerked a little bit with him and then been like, all right, what I'm saying, cut that out. But I'm just saying, maybe multiple approaches. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, as a business owner, own quite a few businesses over the years. Some made it, some didn't. But when you've invested not only your time, your energy, but your money and your resource into something, it's like, nah, man. These are people. I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's an investment. You feel me? And like, yeah, I'm with them 100%. You know what I'm saying? I tell them, sit your ass down. Do it. I mean, like real deal. We ain't at your mama's house because clearly that's what you do there. You in here in my restaurant, sit your ass down and act accordingly or get out. 100.
That part.
It sounds like that's the approach he took. It ultimately too, I think when we talk about sometimes culturally rooted responsiveness or, cultural response, sometimes there's different cultures that respond differently too. And, there's certain levels of offenses that come with that. But I think, again, he had to protect his establishment at the end of the day, period, point blank.
So, but Besa, tell me this, or tell us this. How is the Rewind with Besa in general coming along? You can this is your opportunity right here. Pitch it out to the public. Tell them why they're going to tune in. We just put the podcast link there as well, so people can see it, they can hear you, and some everything else. What can they expect every week with the Rewind with Besa?
Well, right now, I'm not gonna front, I am having more difficulty than I thought juggling all the hats that I decided to put on during this lockdown to kind of keep me in everyone's, eyesights. But for the most part, what you're going to expect is a recap of current events that happened the week before or that week, and then open discussion. Like, I can sit here and rant and ramble and give you guys my thoughts on True's Kitchen, but it's actually not a lot better to have a conversation with someone. So I want to say come January, I plan on doing more open discussions. And when I say open, I want to have like a little panel, 2 or 3 people on there with me. So that way it's more like, I know that's right. It's going to basically be more of a ratchet version of the morning update show, if you will. Because
so I might have to slide into your show.
No, I just love that.
We're gonna have to slide into your show after our show, so we can really get loose.
Yeah. We got to keep it a certain way over here. You already know, Besa.
Well, I'll be like, F this, F that. Then I'm like, Omari's gonna kill me. But you know what? I need you guys to feel me in this.
Hey, but hold on. Mama said Besa is doing it. So you good with Mama, so you good with everybody.
That's right.
Hey, look, we're gonna let you go, but I would tell you, man, catch up if you ever need any help on the production on your show and putting stuff together and clips. Talk to Bobby Steele's the postman. He delivers that too. You know what I'm saying? We're here to help in every way. We'll talk to you soon, Besa.
Bye, Besa.
Bye. Man, you know, this show worked out perfect because Besa just brought a lot of good end of the show energy.
You know, you can never be mad when you have that fiery spirit. I love it. And everything that Besa really represents. Again, spreading Black girl magic on Cube 93 is huge in our community. Shout out to Besa, man. I'm just happy that Besa is a part of the Converge family.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, that's fam bam.
Yeah, period.
It's a good, you know, we're living our mission, as people would say. We're living and we're thriving in our mission to continuously uplift Black voices here in the Pacific Northwest. And we're living that mission every day.
Absolutely. And you know what? Not just living it, but enjoying it every day.
Right?
That's even better, y'all. Definitely enjoyment over here.
Living our best life. Let me slide. Let me get a little closer to all this Black girl magic over here. So any notes before we get out of here?
You know what? Make it a great Thursday, y'all. I know my day is packed, so please make it a great one.
All right. Yeah. And we might, I'm still coordinating. I'll let everybody know. We might have a show tonight with Mike Davis and Julia Jesse. And I know they got a lot to say about President Obama and Biden cabinet and everything else. If we do, though, we'll make sure we'll even send out a newsletter right there. We get that one on air. Thank you. Thank you. This production staff is just amazing out here. So we'll update you on that if we get that one on air. And if not, we'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Until then. Peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.